everybody, it's Dany, and today I'm going to show you how to convert your current stamps into cling mount stamps. There are a few things that you will need to do this project. First is a sharp pair of scissors. I'm actually going to be using two different scissors, Stampin' Up's craft and rubber scissors and paper snips. You will also need a stamp set to convert. The stamp set I'm working on is called Very Thankful and is this year's Ronald McDonald House Charity Set. Stampin' Up donates $2 for every set sold. Depending on whether or not your stamp is wood mounted or not, you might need a microwave. Lastly, you will also need cling mount vinyl and a way to print onto it. I'm using Papilo Inkjet Clear Static Cling Vinyl. I have found that it actually has the best clinginess of any of the clear vinyls I've tried. If you're interested in this product, I do have some extra sheets, so send me an email or leave me a comment. First, I started out by scanning my stamp sets at 100%. And then flipping the images. You'll notice that the Ronald McDonald House set there is flipped to what it actually looks like on the sticker sheet. When you go to print, make sure to only print one sheet at a time so you can grab the printed sheet and move it out of the way. It can take a bit of time for your ink to dry depending on what type of ink your printer uses, and you don't want to smudge your image that you've taken the time to print. Once you have the images printed and dried, you're ready to convert your stamps. If you have previously mounted your stamps to the wood blocks, you're going to want to use a microwave to loosen the glue on the back of the stamp. It should take about 8 to 10 seconds only. Do not overheat your stamp set. The wood blocks get very hot very, very quickly, and you can burn your fingers as well as damaging the stamp. I really do recommend heating them up. I've actually heated this one up previously and taken it off and put it back on just to show you, but they do peel off the block really quite nicely if you heat them up. If you don't, you can leave chunks of your foam here on the block, and then that pretty much decreases your stamping ability. I'll be skipping that step at this point. This is where I take my craft and rubber scissors and I will cut out the stamp set that I want to work on right now. So that's the Very Thankful set here. I find that cutting the whole set out at a time and working one set at a time works the best for me. I then divide them up into their actual individual stamps. And I'm going to be working on this little guy here. Well, I have never mounted this set at all, and if you're like that, you're going to want to take and peel the brown paper backing piece off. If you have a wood mounted stamp, this is what it'll look like coming off of the block. You're then going to want to take the backing off of your vinyl here, pardon me, while I get this off. And then you're going to want to very carefully line this up with your stamp. When you take it off, you don't actually want to flip it. You want to keep this side. That's the cling side. And if you're unsure, you can check. It'll cling really nicely to your block here. The other side really does not cling at all. You can see that. This side clings super great. So just double check if you need to. And then carefully line this up over top. You're gonna want to make sure that you're doing it right and have it exactly where you want it, because it doesn't really come up nicely. You can actually peel it off if you need to, if you've made a mistake. It just isn't super great and easy to do. Then I would take my paper snips and carefully trim all the excess off of this. I'm just going to do a bit of a rough job here. I'll take my time later, just I don't want to run out of video time. And there you have a cling mount stamp ready to use. There is a slightly different way to do this if you don't want to use a printer, if you don't have access to a printer or a scanner for that matter either. You just take you're going to want to do it small pieces at a time here. Pardon me. There's a slightly different method if you do not want to print onto the vinyl. You can stamp directly onto the vinyl instead. However, since only one side of the vinyl is clingy, you're going to have to be careful to stamp onto the cling side, since the image must be flipped to adhere to the stamp properly. First, you'll want to carefully peel the backing off of the vinyl, and then using Stays On ink, you'll ink up your stamp. And you're going to stamp onto the cling side, the side that you just peeled the backing off of. So you just want to be careful when stamping this. Your paper will curl a little bit, which can be a bit of a pain. The bigger your piece of cling, the less it actually will curl. Also, if you're not careful, you can actually smudge this really easy because it is quite a slick surface. It's quite glossy. So you're going to want to stamp that and then set it aside and let it dry. It will take a couple minutes for that StazOn ink to dry. Once it is dry, you are ready to place the vinyl onto your stamp. The side that you stamped onto is the cling side, and you're going to want to make sure not to stick this side to your stamp. I also like to flip it over and just rub it on my paper to make sure that it doesn't leave an image, then you know for sure that it's dry. You will again take the backing off if you have it left on. And then you will just carefully place that on so that you have it nicely lined up, and then just press down and adhere it. And that will stick beautifully. To your block. And that way you didn't have to print it like I did this one, although the image might be a little bit more smudged. I have not noticed a decrease in the clinginess of the StazOn method. However, since the surface is slippery, like I said, if you're not careful while stamping, you can get a little bit of a smudged image, which is why I still prefer doing the printed method over this one. The stamps will also stick to most storage solutions now, like CD cases, the DVD cases like this that Stampin' Up! Sells, or acetate sheets, which is what I actually do. This is an entire stamp set right there. I currently have all my stamps unmounted like this and stored inside of a 12x12 binder. If any of you are interested in seeing this system, let me know and I can make a video on that next. I personally love having my sets cling mounted like this instead of wood mounted. This is basically a standard set, and it will end up being on a piece like that in a side of a binder. Or if you do it into a DVD case or a CD, just look at the storage savings alone. I actually really enjoy the cling mounts and knowing that exactly where I'm stamping, because you can see through the block and it's not really a guessing game of did I get my label on the block straight, and I'm not really sure. So I definitely recommend doing this system. Make sure to check out my blog, incrediblecreations.blogspot.com, and thanks for stopping by. I'll see you later.